He's 7 for 28 in 4 preseason games from the field. He's 2 for 13, I believe, from three-point range. He's got 8 assists and 8 turnovers. He's moving into year 2. This guy is not an NBA player.
When LeBron James and his son Bronny stepped onto the court together, they made NBA history, becoming the league's first active father-son duo to share a roster. But what appeared to be a storybook moment almost immediately ignited one of basketball's most heated debates. Did Bronny actually earn his spot, or is this the most glaring example of nepotism the NBA has ever seen? On October 22, 2024, Bronny James made his professional debut with the Los Angeles Lakers against the Minnesota Timberwolves. LeBron publicly called it his greatest accomplishment. Fans around the world were split. Some embraced the historic milestone. Others began questioning whether merit still drives roster decisions in today's NBA. His supporters point to extraordinary resilience. This is a young man who survived cardiac arrest in July 2023, and they highlight his defensive instincts and his determination to forge his own identity from beneath the longest shadow in basketball. But the critics haven't let up. They point to underwhelming college numbers at USC, a 55th overall draft selection, and a rookie contract that raised eyebrows for a late second-round pick. Their argument is straightforward. Bronny got his opportunity because of his last name, not his game. This father-son pairing represents completely uncharted territory for the league. So let's break it all down. Their on-court performance, the business strategy behind the move, the psychological pressure Bronny is carrying, and what it means for basketball history. And here's the uncomfortable reality underneath it all. LeBron may not have the leverage to keep Bronny in the NBA long-term. And if LeBron ever has to force his way out of Los Angeles, that could effectively signal the end of Bronny's NBA career. To truly understand the nepotism conversation, you have to look at Bronny's numbers at every level. The hard truth is that his production doesn't match what you'd expect from an NBA-ready prospect. His freshman year at USC was derailed by cardiac arrest during practice, a life-threatening emergency that scouts acknowledge must be considered in any fair evaluation. But when he did play, the results were difficult to overlook. Across 25 games, he averaged just 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game. Compare that to fellow 2024 draftee Jared McCain, who put up 14.3 points and 5 rebounds while shooting over 41% from 3. The gap isn't just noticeable, it's significant. His 2024-25 G League season with the South Bay Lakers offered some encouragement, 21.9 points per game with a respectable 38% shooting from 3. Those numbers gave people reason to believe he could develop into a legitimate pro. Then came the 2026-27 G League campaign, and the concerns resurfaced. His three-point percentage dropped all the way to 21.2%, reigniting every question about whether he can be a reliable scoring threat at this level. Scouting reports describe him as an athletic but undersized combo guard, whose strongest attributes are defensive energy and basketball IQ. Most scouts project him as a potential 3-and-D specialist down the line. Through his first 2 NBA seasons, his effective field goal percentage sits below 39%, a telling sign that he's struggling to score efficiently against NBA-caliber defense. He plays with hesitation, frequently passing up open looks. That tendency reached a boiling point when head coach J.J. Redick was caught on camera screaming at Bronny during a game against the Bucks, demanding that he shoot the ball. But here's important context. Nepotism is not a new phenomenon in the NBA. It's woven into the fabric of the league. Insiders like Adrian Wojnarowski have confirmed that family connections run deep across ownership groups, front offices, and coaching staffs. Consider Austin Rivers. When his father, Doc Rivers, was both head coach and held significant influence over the Los Angeles Clippers roster decisions, he acquired Austin and handed him a meaningful contract. Critics were ruthless, arguing Rivers wasn't good enough to hold an NBA roster spot without his father's intervention. But Austin Rivers silenced the doubters. He evolved from an inefficient high-volume scorer into a legitimate defensive role player who carved out a real NBA career. The lesson is clear. Nepotism might open the door,
But staying in the NBA requires genuine ability and growth. By any objective measure, Austin Rivers is a far more capable NBA player than Bronny James. The question now is whether Bronny can follow a similar path of development or whether the door closes before he ever gets that chance. Beyond his NBA salary, Bronny has also built a notable endorsement portfolio. He signed with Nike Basketball in 2022, becoming one of the first high school athletes to land such a deal, a partnership made even more significant given his father's legendary lifelong relationship with the brand. He also holds an NIL deal with Beats by Dre, a company he became the first athlete ambassador for back in 2008. And that endorsement success is actually one of the biggest accelerants of the nepotism debate. Bronny accumulated substantial wealth before ever playing a single professional minute. Thanks to the NIL era in college athletics, he built a multi-million-dollar brand that far outpaced what his on-court production would have warranted on its own. By May 2024, his NIL valuation had reached an estimated $5.9 million. His sponsorship portfolio includes Nike, Beats, where he became the first high school athlete signed by the brand 14 years after his father became its inaugural ambassador, Google, who featured him promoting their Circle to Search function in 2023, Fanatics for collectible trading cards alongside LeBron, and PSD underwear. From a pure business standpoint, drafting Bronny was a calculated move by the Lakers. It effectively locked LeBron into Los Angeles for additional years while guaranteeing ticket revenue, merchandise sales, and sustained national media attention. Bronny's number 9 jersey became the top-selling rookie jersey of the season. G-League ticket prices for South Bay Lakers games surged dramatically, with secondary market listings approaching $1,000 for his Summer League debut. As for his contract, Bronny is currently on a 4-year deal with the Lakers worth approximately $7.9 million, but the financial rewards come with a weight that money cannot offset. Being the son of one of the greatest athletes in history creates a level of psychological pressure that most people genuinely cannot comprehend. Bronny has been candid about that burden, openly discussing the intense scrutiny and the imposter syndrome he navigates daily, the constant feeling that his achievements are dismissed as products of privilege rather than genuine hard work. Bringing a high-profile player perceived as a nepotism beneficiary into a professional locker room carries real consequences. Anonymous reports from the 2024 Summer League pointed to friction within the Lakers' young core. Some players reportedly felt resentment over the preferential treatment Bronny received, with concerns that game plans were being shaped around him at the expense of other prospects fighting for their NBA lives. There's no denying the advantages Bronny has had. He grew up with a father who provided a masterclass in building a legendary career, instilling values of hard work and discipline from an early age. He had access to elite training facilities, high-level coaching, and consistently competed against the country's best prospects in top-tier AAU circuits. With financial security never being a concern, he can pursue the game out of pure passion. And growing up under constant public scrutiny has arguably prepared him for the NBA's brutal media environment better than most rookies ever are. But the disadvantages are equally real. Bronny will never receive a fully fair evaluation. Every mistake gets amplified across social media and traditional outlets. The optics of his situation feed a persistent narrative that he's occupying a roster spot that a more deserving player, one without the right last name, should be holding. Some analysts, including Stephen A. Smith, have argued that by bypassing a traditional multi-year college development path, Bronny may have actually stunted his own growth, entering a league he wasn't ready for. Ultimately, the integration of Bronny James into the Los Angeles Lakers defies conventional basketball logic, but it makes complete sense within today's celebrity-driven sports landscape. The skepticism about his NBA readiness is statistically warranted. His college and early professional efficiency numbers trail players selected at similar or later draft positions. But what the Lakers recognized is that Bronny's value isn't measured purely in points per game. It represents a combination of defensive upside, brand alignment, and organizational stability. By drafting Bronny, the Lakers secured LeBron James, one of the most commercially valuable athletes in sports history, for the foreseeable future. The Bronny James story is an unprecedented collision of family legacy and professional athletics. His last name gave him an entry point most players will never have access to. but his long-term survival in this league will be determined by the same unforgiving standards of efficiency and production that apply to every player in the NBA. The nepotism debate raises legitimate questions about fairness and opportunity, but it doesn't account for the individual resilience and work ethic required to actually stick around once those initial doors have been opened.